Okay, let's start the session. So today topic is stacks. So as of now, previously we have discussed about linked list, right? So now we are going with the stacks. What is stacks actually? So why we are using it and what is the real-time problems with this and how we are evaluating it, we'll see. So stack is a plate of books in a cupboard. Suppose if you see if you want to keep anything in a box, so how we will keep, I mean, if you are inserting the any books or anything in the box, how you will insert? First you will keep the books or something in the box, and if while taking out whatever you insert a last one, you will fetch out that one as first, like that. So it will also store the element, and it has the principle of last in first out. That means whatever that comes in the last, it will be fetched out first. So where exactly we will use is evaluating the mathematical expressions, undo operations in editors, drawings and apps. Suppose if you are having a paint operation, so you will draw some many things. While doing undo operation, whatever the last thing you have done, that will be made undo, right? Let me show example. So here, take few things. So like this is there. When I do undo, what will be the element that will be deleted first? It's nothing but whatever last come. Next one, triangle. Next one, square. That is rectangle. Next one, line. See. So whatever inserted last, that is deleting last first. That's what stack operations. So support for recursion. So activation of recursion method was nothing but suppose you are doing any recursions, how it will work means based on the stacks concept only. Like whatever the last called recursive operation will be there, that will be called first. Next, stack is a linear data structure which follows the particular order in which operations are performed. Okay, that is last and first out. So mainly the following are the three basic operations in this: push, pop, peek, or is empty. So what does it mean? Okay. So push is nothing but inserting, pop is nothing but removing. So peek or top nothing but returns the top of the element. And what is the difference between pop and peek is nothing but pop will only delete the element, and if the element is not there, it will return an exception. Whereas peek or top will return the true or false. So is empty, it tells that whether it is empty or not. So the complexities of operations on the stack. So push, pop, is empty we have taken, right? That will be order of one. That means what is the element you are going to take? That will be taken, right? So it is order of one. We do not run any loops in any of these operations. That means to get an element, like in the linked list, we are looping, right, to get that element. Whereas in the stacks, we won't do that one. So if we take the applications of stack, balancing of symbols, infix to post click operations, redo and undo features in the paint like editors, forward and backward feature in the browsers like web. If you see any videos like that, used in many algorithms like Tower of Hanai, tree traversals, stock span problems, histogram problems, and other applications can be backtracking, night to problem, and in graph algorithms like topological sorting and strongly connected conflicts. Like this, there are many applications with the stack. Let us see one problem implementing the queues using the stacks. So queue is queue is itself a different mechanism, but we can implement the queue using stacks also. Like how we will implement queue is nothing but what is it? First come first out, right? That means whoever comes first, that will go out as a first. So how we will using two stacks, how we will implement, we'll see. First one, enqueue. While stack 1 is not empty, push everything from stack 1 to stack 2. Push x to stack 1, assuming size of the stacks are same and unlimited also. Push everything back to stack 1. Here is the complexity will be order of n. DQ. If stack 1 is empty, then error. Pop an, pop an item from the stack 1 and return it. Like what he is saying is take the two stacks and first come first serve operation, right? So first, if the elements in, I mean, if the stack 1 is empty, then we need to push the everything from stack 1 to stack 2. That means what happens is whatever the elements which are in the stack 1 will be inserted in reverse order in the stack 2. Like in that way. So if you want to delete the element first come first serve, right? So we need to delete it from the stack 2. Like that we can implement it. So do you guys have any other approach? Let me see if anyone want to share anything. Okay, no one. We'll see. Implement two stacks in an array. So how we will implement the stacks in an array, we'll see. Uh, Create a data structure, two stacks that represent two stacks implementation of two stacks. Okay, okay, sorry. Implementation of two stacks should be use only one array. That is, both stacks should use the same array for storing the elements. Following functions must be supported by two stacks. Push uh, and push the second element, push the first element. So by using one array, we need to do the push operation. So that array should support pushing up the two. Sorry. Solution. So how we can achieve this one is a simple way to implement two stack is divide the array into two halves and assign the first half space to, sorry, the two halves to two stacks, like the first half to first one, second half to second one, like this array of 0 to array of n by 2 and array of n by plus 1 to array of n minus 1 for second stack, where array is the array to be used to implement the two stack size, and size of the array would be n. The problem with this method is inefficient use of array space. Suppose if we have 10 elements and our array size is having 100, even if we divide that element 50-50 will be divided for two stacks, but we have only 10 elements, so it will be waste of space much. A stack push operation may result in the stack overflow even if there is a space available in array. For example, say array size is 6 and we push 3 elements into stack 1 and do not push anything into the stack 2. When we push the fourth element to the stack 1, there will be a overflow. So what he is saying is, one more scenario is, instead of wasting space, we have wasting space in different way also. So we have array size of 10. Let us assume. Let me put in the word. Okay, let us assume that this is only array. We are having array size as 8. So we are using up to fourth one as stack 1. From 4 to 8 is stack 2. Okay. This is stack 2. So what he is saying is, suppose if I insert four elements over here and I did not insert anything over in this array, sorry, in this stack. Since we assign only four spaces to the stack 1, if you want to insert one more element in the stack 1, it will say that stack overflow. You cannot insert the stack elements into the stack because it has exceeded its length, that is 4. Whereas if you observe properly, the entire array having the space in the stack too, but still it is saying that we cannot insert. This is what the space issue. So even though we have the space, it will say that I cannot insert because we divided into two ops. So the problem with this method is that one. Okay. Yeah. Next one. What is the second approach? So in the first approach, we are wasting the spaces, and second approach we'll see. This method efficiently utilizes the available space. It doesn't cause an overflow. If there is a space available in an array like that in the diagram I shown, the idea is to start the two stacks from the two extreme corners. Okay, it will start the two from two extreme corners. That is, stack one starts from leftmost element, that is from 0th index, and right one start with n minus 1. Both stacks grow or shrink in opposite direction. To check for the overflow, all we need to check is first space between the top elements of the both stacks. This check is highlighted in the below code. You see. So Bala Suraj, can you mute yourself? Okay. So we'll see this one, how it is balanced. Suppose they want to push the, not this one, right? So we'll see this problem only, how he want to explain. The second way, in the first approach, what happened is we have started the pointer for the first one over here. First pointer is starting over here, and second pointer was starting over here only in the first solution. Since when it reached up to pointer 2, it is saying the stack overflow. So for that solution, for that one, what happened is we are come up with a solution saying that okay. So in this case, what happening is pointer will start from this end and pointer 2 will start from this end. Okay, so while it is filling up these things, it will check for the top element in the this stack 2 and the top element in the this stack. So if there is any gap between the two stacks, that means the space is still empty, it will goes on filling the elements. So it will not divide them into half, so that whatever the whenever space is there, it will fill. Suppose it is 6, it is 7. So if there is only two elements in the stack 2 and if there are 6 elements in the stack 1, it can accommodate. Like this, it will uses this pointer concept. Got it?
Sir,
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me.
instead of using static arrays to implement the stacks,
Mm.
we can use dynamic arrays, no, sir, like array list.
Of course, we can use that, but in
Then
the
there will be
static,
no problem of overflowing.
exactly, exactly, there will be no problem. That will be the next approach only. But in the problem, what is that? Implement two stacks in an array,
Okay.
not dynamic array. So static array, that's why I explained that one. So if you use the dynamic array, then there will be no issues. There is no need to divide. There is no need to maintain the pointers itself. It will grows and shrink dynamically based
Yes,
on the
yes.
dynamic array. Yeah. So I mean that will be come in the next classes, like how we will use the dynamic array and all this. But as of now, we are explaining this one. Okay. Given an expression string, write a program to eliminate this one, whether they are balanced or not. So by using stacks, how can we achieve that, whether it is balanced or not? Anyone? Yeah. No one. They will see. Same by using stack only. So whenever we are doing, we will insert all these operations. See, I will tell you. So declare a character stack S. Now traverse the expression string through string. I mean from starting to end. If the current character is starting with this one, traverse the string expression. If the stack, yeah, in the stack, if find this one till end, we should pop the stack and then it is balanced one. Yeah, correct, Sampriti. Yeah, and Ramya also trying to say something. Yeah, I think she didn't post it. We'll see. That's what. So if the current character is a starting bracket, then push it to the stack. If the current character is closing bracket, then pop the stack. So like that will do. What happens is, let me go through the example. So let me take the string also. What we are doing, we'll see. So first, what we are doing is, see. So first we'll take this one. We'll see that is the top element having this one. No, I don't have a top element. I will push into this one. Okay. Next element I will check that whether it is a closed of that one or not. So I compared with this stack element. There is no such closed element with this one. So since it is not closed, again I will push into this one. Next I will again take this element. Whatever the pushed element, is it matching with the sorry? Is it matching with the guys? Yeah, I will check that whether it is matching with the topmost element in the stack. So when I see this one, it is matching with the topmost element. Then what I will do, I will I will pop this element. That means I will remove this element so that these two are mapped. Only these two are mapped. Okay. Next, what again I will do? I will check that next element. Again, this is matching with the top element or not. If we see this one, this is open, this is closed. So both are matching. Then I will pop the stack. Now it is empty. Again, I will go through this one. Again, I will check this one. Is there any element mapping with the closing of this one? Nothing is there. So I will paste over here. Then again, I will check that is this mapping with this one. So when I check this one, it is same exactly open one, closed one. So again, I will delete the elements in the stack. Similarly, what happens next? I will take this one. Again, I'm checking is there any element? Nothing is there, so I will paste it. Next, again, I'm checking that is there any element in the stack with this combination? Nothing is there. Again, I insert that. Again, I'm taking next element and I'm checking that is there an element? Nothing is there. I will push it. Again, I will go here. If I check here, it is closed one. It is mapping with the open one of the previous. So I will pop it out. So next again insert one, check with the closed one. It is mapping. So again, what we'll do, we'll close this one. And after that, if you see, I encountered with this closed parenthesis. I mean closed square brackets. Again, I will push over here. So if I check this one, sorry, if I check this one, these both are mapped. Then again, I will delete these two elements. Then after that, again, what happens? Again, I will check with this element. It is there. It is not there in the stack, so I will push it. So again it is not there. Again I will check with the next element. So it is closed up this one. So again I will delete this one. So finally when comes to last element also mapping with the top of the stock element. So I will delete this also. At the end, if the stack is empty, then we can say that it is in a balanced expression. Otherwise, we can say that it is not balanced expression. For example, if you take the one more example, this one, and not only that one, we need to say that immediately it should be closed like that. Yeah. Suppose if you take this one, in the previous one, everything mapped with the top element. But if you see, first element is this one, and second element is this one, and third element is again this one. We are checking the combination, but the top element is not at all mapping with the current element, right? Yeah. If I take the last scenario, again I am taking when compared with the top element, it is not mapping with the top element. So in this scenario, stack will not be empty, so that it will goes on increase. So in this case, what happens is not a balanced expression. Is everyone understood?
Yes, sir.
Replies.
So it shouldn't matter the count of the number of occurrences, but the order also matters.
Matters, yeah. That's why we are comparing with only top elements. If you observe, the count is same only, but the order is not mapped. So that's why when I'm comparing with the top element, it is not matching. That's why it is an unbalanced tree. Whereas the previous example, everything is balanced. That means everything is mapping with the top element.
Okay, sir.
Good. Next question. Yeah, this is what the solution what we are talking about. Next one. Given an array, print the next greater element. Okay, for every element. The next greater element for an element x is the first greater element on the right side of the x in an array. Element for which no greater element exists, consider the next greater element as okay. What he's saying is you want to find the next immediate greater element in the array from the right side. So if we take an example of input 4, 5, 2, 25, output element of NGE, next greater element we'll see. For 4, what is the next immediate greater element? That is 5 only. Even though it is have more than one greater element, but he said that next greater element for an element is the first greater element on the right side. What is that next immediate greater element in the right side? 5 only. If you take the 5, 2 is less than. So immediately next greater than 1 is 25 only. If you take the 2, again 25. If you take the 1, there is no such element which is greater than the 25. So we will print it as minus 1. Is it clear? Is the question clear for everyone?
Yes, sir, but sir, I means in the algorithm, I can't understand how at the end of the list, how are we saying it is minus one? Like 25 to minus
20 for 25, how it
in
will
the
be minus
program. How can
in
we
the
do
program.
that?
Simple. So first of all, you will, using the stacks, right? Whenever you say 25, we'll
Okay.
check that after popping off the elements up to 25, if there is no element found in the stack, then we can say that it is minus 1.
Okay.
Got it right? So we will
Yeah.
pop out the element. We have given 25. So until we reach 25, we will pop out the elements. So after reaching 25, next whatever the element is popping out, we will check the condition if the element whatever given and popped element is greater than the given element. If it is greater than, we will print that one, and we will go until the down of the stack, and moving that, if the stack is, we can say that -1 is a greater one. I mean, we will print the -1 as the element, like that. Next, use the two loops. The outer loop picks the elements of one by one, and the inner loop looks for the first greater element for the element picked by the outer loop. If the greater element found, we can print other. This is the order of n square complex. That means using two loops for checking the condition and for doing these two. So what is the next approach is using stacks. So if you use the arrays, you need to use the two loops, right? So by using the stacks, we can eliminate this one. Who's the first element to the stack? Pick rest of the elements one by one and follow the following steps in the loop. Make the current element as next. If the stack is not empty, compare the top element of the stack with the next. If the next is greater than the top element, pop the element, and next is the greatest element. If until stack becomes empty, if we didn't find that element, we can simply print as. That means in this one we are only moving up to n only. That means suppose in the worst case, suppose if we have 10 elements and we want to check the condition where the 10th element is the highest in the stack. So after that there is no element, the elements up to 10 only. That is order of n only. Whereas using loops, it will be order of n square. Is it clear for everyone? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The stack span problem. I forgot to ask. In the previous session, did you guys completed the questions? I also want to share the PPT also. Previous one. Let me share that first. Yeah, I have sent PPT regarding the previous linked list questions. Okay, and this one I will send once the session. I mean stack sessions are ended. Okay. And I asked you guys to solve the last two problems also. I didn't send the solution in the PPT till now. You guys, if anyone cleared it, we will discuss. So did anyone solve the questions that I have given in the last class? Anyone? I think no one touched. Once we get 1 day gap, then people stopped. It is for you only, guys. You need to practice, okay? So we'll see. The stack span problem is a financial problem where we have a series of n daily price quotes. Yeah, okay. But try it, at least you try it today or tomorrow, because that will be helpful to you only. Just solve it. If you don't get it, go for the solution in the Google also. But directly don't go to the Google. Just do it for your times. I mean, think, give some work to your brains that how can we solve this one. Suppose if you have a real time problem in your real life, there is no Google, right? You should think about, I mean, you yourself, you need to think and solve the problem. So in the same way, When you are doing the problem, think that it is your problem, not for any companies or not for any Suntech or not for any college. Think that this is your problem. Once you solve this problem, then only you will get it. So in that way, if you try, if you think in that way, you will try. At least you will think of how to resolve this one, even it is the worst complex way also. So once you get the answer, then you go for the Google or anything, so that you struggled a lot to get the solution. So after your struggle, if you go for the Google or something, you will remember it always, because to get the answer you struggled hours. So after that, even if you get the solution, you will remember lifelong, because you know how much you struggled for the solution. So don't go for the Google. What you will get, even if you go for the Google, in the next class you will say that, sir, I solved it. So what happens after that? Even I will go off. I will go off from the session. So once the session completed, I will go off, and you people will be suffered. You people will never remember if you directly Google it. Got it? Okay. Next, the stack span problem is financial problem where we have series of n daily price quotes for a stock. Okay. So there will be n number of people quote and it is price for all the n days. The span is nothing but S of I. That is S of I, guys. It is printed wrongly. S of I of the stacks price on the given day I. Defined as the maximum number of consecutive days on the current day is less than or equal to the its price on the given day. So what he's saying is, suppose let us take an example. Array of n days price is given like this. So we have given n days and the prices are given like on the first day it is given 100, 80, 60, 70, 60, 75. Output the span values for the corresponding 7 values is, we'll see that what he is saying, we need the span SI of the stacks price on a given day. I is defined as the maximum number of consecutive days just before the given day for which the price of the stock on the current day is less than or equal to the price on the given day. So what is saying? Just before given day for which the price of the stack on the current day is less than or equal to the price on the given day. Suppose if we see this one, so if this is this problem, so 100 is the first one. Okay, the span values for the corresponding 100, 80, 60 is nothing but, if we take the span of SI, the stacks price on the given day I. Suppose if I take the first day, is defined as the maximum number of consecutive days just before given day. So how many days before the 100? There is nothing. So this is the initial one for which the price of the stock on current day is less than or equal to this one. So how many days are there which is having less than 100? Only this is itself having one day. So it is 100. So for 80, if I take any day which is less price than the second day, is given 80. Is there anything which is having less than the 80? No. So only one day. For 60, for 60 also there is nothing left. So this is only one. For 70, if you take the 70, 70 and 60, he said less than or equal to, right? So on the current day it is 70 and the previous day it is having one more price which is 60. So total two are there, less than or equal to 60 and 70. That's why we have two. If I take 60 again, if you see on the previous day, we are having only 70. If you see consecutive days, he said, he didn't say the previous entire days, consecutive. If I say consecutive, only two will come. So in this two, 70 is greater only. Only 60 is equal. That's why we got one. Screen is not visible to me. Is it? Oh. Is it not visible to everyone?
It is visible, sir.
Ramya, can you try to rejoin again? It is visible to everyone. Okay. So he said consecutive. So whenever this condition fails over 60 and 70, we should not go to below ones. When it is accepting, suppose you assume that here we are having 50, we'll compare with 50, 60. So it is there, and again we'll compare with consecutive of previous one, like that. If it is breaking here itself, we won't go further. Like that, for the 60, we will having only one again. So for 75, if you see, immediately 60 is less than, 70 is less than, 60 is less than. So total, how many are less than this one? 4 are there. This is an condition satisfied by immediate consecutive of 4 elements. So we will be printing 4. If you take the 85, 85 is equal condition, 75 is less than, 60 is less than, 70 is less than, 60 is less than, and 80 also less than. That means 6 elements are satisfying the given condition. So we need to check this one. How we will check this one? I want solution from you guys. First of all, do you guys understand the problem? Yeah, we need to print the frequency of elements which is less than or equal to the current day given code. Suppose assume that Amazon has given a their stocks. So the Amazon announced that for my stock, whoever announced the highest price during the last day, I will sell to that person. Like assume that it is given 7 days. On the first day, it is given 100. On the second day, 80, 60, 70, like that. So we need to print the highest or less than or equal to condition of those tags on the current day. Like that, we are what we are considering based on that one. The values are like this. So any solution? Yeah.
First, we will find the length of the array, sir.
Okay.
And we will create a stack.
Okay.
And we'll take the first element and insert it into the stack.
Okay.
So now there is only length of stack is only 1. So there is no previous data. So the current count will be only 1.
Okay.
Frequency count, initially we will be keeping count equal to 1, so not 0.
Okay.
Because every time it will be equal to the number is, means we'll keep count 1, no sir. So count 1, so we'll print that 100. Since there is only one element, we'll say it is count equal to 1.
1, yeah.
And next we'll take the second element here, 80. And we'll insert it into the stack.
Okay.
And we'll compare the top element with the rest of the stack.
Okay.
And if it is not, if anything is less than the top element, we'll increase the count.
If anything less than or consecutive less than?
Sir, consecutive, no sir, after 80, it is 100 only, sir. So 80 is not less than 100. So it will ignore that 100 and check if there is any other element in the stack.
So if suppose if it is breaking at the 80 only, there is no need to check. Consecutive itself failed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in that condition, we can break there itself. If it is less than, then only we will move for the next set of the stack.
Okay.
Yeah. In the same way, you will do. You will insert on this one. If the consecutive immediate next before top one, whatever is there, if it is not less than, then we will break it and we'll stop there only. Otherwise, only we will move to enter stack.
Okay, that part I thought for every element we'll check, and if it is less, we'll count.
No, if it is immediately less than, we will break it. 60, 70 condition.
Yes.
If it does 60 is again equal over here, but we still printed 1 only because it is breaked over here only. It is not consecutive.
Yes.
Like that. So we'll see what is the solution. That is one solution. Once we go through that one, once the condition breaks, we can print 1. Otherwise, we'll go through the stack.
Okay.
Simple but inefficient method is traverse the input price array for every element being visited. Traverse element on the left and increment the span value of it. This is like using array. So by using stacks, what we will do? Linear complexity. So that is nothing but we see that S of I on the day I can be easily computed. If we compute them, we know the closest to day preceding I, such that the price is greater than on the day. It's nothing but whatever we have dot. So we will goes on for the stack. We will check that whether if it is consequently decreasing. So then we will print all the elements. If it is, suppose if we take this element, this is not consecutive. Even though both are equal, we can say that no, both are not same. Like that, we will check our condition and we'll close it. It is by using arrays. It is by using stacks. Whatever we discussed, like Ramesh or someone said, right? Like that, we will, if such element exists, we will go further. Otherwise, we will stop there. Any doubts?
Sir, once can we see the other method, the graph one?
Yeah, we can read it.
Okay. Yes, sir, understood.
Yeah, cool. So remaining problems we'll discuss tomorrow. It's already 9. Since I am 10 minutes late, I have taken up to 9 instead of 8. So remaining problems we'll see tomorrow. Yeah. Anyone having doubts? If anyone have doubts, we can extend up to 5 minutes. Otherwise, we can close it. I hope no. Yeah. Thank you, guys.